Well, thank you very much for that interesting presentation. Most of it was not a, most of it was not a surprise to me, but there were a few places that were, excuse me, folks, scratchy throat. As many of you in this room know, dreams of universal harmony, universal sharing of norms, universal comity. You could put together some kind of universal government, perhaps, and we would have ways of negotiating our differences. There would be no more war. Those are dreams that reappear in some guise or another every generation. There's always someone else to say, you gotta be kidding. You know, look at the history of the human race. Has there ever been such a moment? Where do you take your evidence from? Where does your hope come from? If you can't point to a single instance of this ever having been the case, why should I take seriously your advocacy of universal harmony at this particular point? Martin Luther was especially scathing in responding to someone who was making this sort of argument about on this earth, we didn't need to wait until the eschaton for the lion to lie down with the lamb. That would happen on this earth. And Luther said, if the lion lies down with the lamb must be replaced frequently. Well, I think most of us realize that lambs need to be replaced frequently in a world in which the strong can still harry and harass and destroy the weak. Now, how can one try to create a situation in which that's less likely to happen? And the state, believe it or not, because we often look at states, at least a lot of academics do, and think there's the problem. There's the problem. The state's the problem. And if we got rid of states and had a different way of doing things, we wouldn't have these incessant wars. We wouldn't have all these divisions, and maybe the day of harmony would come closer sooner. Well, again, that argument, as attractive as it is not persuasive to people. And there are good reasons for why it is not. Those who know anything of the history of the West